When the earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it. And believe me, he's winding up.
So, I don't exactly know how I want to discuss this. Like, I don't really know how I want to even begin this. Like, because you know me, I'm a drama kid. I like the drama of, like, telling you some wild shit, and then we kind of dial it back, and then we just get absurd humor, right? I like that format. I like trying to shock you guys in the beginning, get your attention. I like the performative nature of this. But I think I'm going to lose a lot of people if I do that. So I think the format we're going to use for this show is I'm going to tell you what's happening. I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Then I'm going to tell you what I really think about it. And then who knows where we'll go from there. So I heard today on the news that we're going to get another third party pretty soon. We're making another third party, right? We're going to have the Republicans. We're going to have the Democrats. And we're going to have the anti-Israelis. Like, and it's crazy because we have already gotten another third party. It's just this other third party is being allowed to pretend that they're Democrats while it's convenient. And the reason they're doing this is because Bernie Sanders started that shit. Bernie Sanders got a lot of support because he's a fucking retard. And he got all the retards whipped up into thinking, hey, I could have a free, I could sit around and do nothing utopia if only I fucking vote for this guy. He'll just give me everything. Alright? So all the retards ganged up and got together and said, we're all Bernie bros. And Bernie said, look, you know, I can run as a third party and just steal a whole bunch of votes from you, or I can run as a Democrat and you let me really take a stab at this thing. And the Democrats said, sure. We'll team up with the Marxist communists and we'll see where that gets us. And what it first started to get them was a whole lot of backlash, because once Bernie was like, oh shit, Bernie might actually beat Hillary. We can't have that. We can't talk about how it's her turn and it's her time now and then just give it up to some old white guy. So they said, nope, we're not going to do that. And then what they got was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they got Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, the cunt bunch, right? They got all those fucking retards. And they're not really Democrats. They're communists. Like, they're socialist, communist, pinko pieces of shit, right? It's what they fucking are. They're Marxist, Islamist fucktards, right? However you want to describe it, whatever you want to do. They're stupid, satanic idiots. Like, whatever you want to call them. We can go anywhere you want to go with it. But they're always the same fucking thing. Dumbasses using bad, dangerous shit to just gain power. To just be a part of the ruling class. Because it's so easy to get there here. All you have to do is understand that intelligence is a spectrum. There's smart people on one side and there's fucking stupid people on the other. And like the crazy thing about it is everybody in between is some degree of average, right? Average starts here if we're going to go here to here. So we're in the average. Well, people out here, they're only slightly smarter than average and slightly stupider than average. Right? And then we go out here, and they're still really only slightly smarter than average, and slightly stupider than average, right? So then we go out a little bit further, right? You understand where I'm going with this? Now we're into smart people. You see what I'm saying? And now we're into stupid people, right? Everybody in between here and going off to here, They're the people that they're going for. All the people that aren't smart. All the gassed up stupids. And the stupid stupids. Like all the stupids. And all of the people that can be easily manipulated because they're less than smart. Better than average. Right? They're going after a vast swath of people. Is what I'm saying. They're going to get a lot of support. Because all of this people below average are going to vote for them. And let's just say a quarter of the people above average vote for them. That's still enough, isn't it? It's more than enough to win. It's more than half. That's why they always win the popular vote. But they never win the regional vote. Because even the stupid people that don't live in the cities realize that the fucking shit they're saying is also stupid. So I'm a fucking idiot. But I can tell that's dumb. That is not going to work for me where I live out here in the sticks. I can't have that shit because that'll cause me problems. Because no matter how dumb you are, you always kind of know what's going to cause you problems. You might be stupid enough to do it over and over again, but nevertheless, you know it's going to cause you a problem. Oh, we're not going to get any water. Well, that's going to be a problem. Oh, I have to be smart to understand that no water is a problem. Like, they go for the retards. And the retards get hooked every time. That's fucking life, man. Go fishing. You look at every fish that you catch and you just look into its eyes and go, man, there ain't nothing there. Because the retards always get caught. So, the Democrats have handed over their party, their good name, to people like Bernie Sanders, who are an I in all non-election years, and then that I magically turns into a D when they want to get elected. And then after they get elected again, because again, they're fishing for retards and they're catching every one, that D, after they win, turns into an I. Because they're independent. They're a third party. They're democratic socialists. Right? They're pinko pusswads. But we have our own pinko pusswads, right? They've got their faction of the group that I don't care what it is. If Donald Trump says that clean air is the way to go, I'm going to start voting in people who want to reduce taxes on cigarettes. And people who support smoking in restaurants again, because fuck Donald Trump. I don't like him. And I don't want anything that he wants. I don't care how good it is for me. Right? We have that on the Republican side. Same thing. Different target. Israel. Man, it always comes down to the Jews, don't it? It's funny how that works. So we have the anti-Israel wing. The I don't want to do anything that I can figure out a way to include Israel into, because Israel is doing a genocide and I don't like that, and I don't want to do anything that Israel wants me to do. Right? Same thing. I don't want to do anything that Donald Trump wants me to do. We just had a ruling come down. Construction work on the ballroom has to stop again. Why? Because some judge said, you know, I agree. I don't think it's right that he should make a ballroom in the White House. Fuck that shit. So here we are. We remain slaves to the past, refusing to move on, and because of that, we now just have a giant hole in the side of the White House and a big gaping fucking hole in the ground, because I don't like Donald Trump. And the new party, I'm sure you can guess, is headed by none other than Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Thomas Massey. And they have decided that what they're going to do, the coterie of people that they are going to go after, are the people who don't like Israel and don't want to do anything that Israel might possibly benefit from, because if we do that, we're doing that because we're just doing Israel's bidding. And no new wars means no new wars, people. No matter what happens. No new wars. No matter how crazy shit gets. We ain't gonna get involved. You all are left to your own devices. Like 80% of the world can just go fucking wild. And we'll just sit here, not get involved. This is the second leg of their platform. And the last leg, of course, the Thomas Massey leg, right? Because Tucker Carlson is the no new wars means no new wars. I don't give a shit how much of the rest of the world fucking burns. I'm not getting involved. That's the Tucker Carlson angle. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is the fucking Jewish space lasers. No, it's Israel. She's the Israel retard, right? And so Thomas Massey, well, what's his big thing? The fucking Epstein files. That's right. We're going to dismantle the Epstein class. Whatever the fuck that means. He's going to name more names publicly. And everybody's going to go, well, who's that? And then you go, he's the guy that owns this. Oh, well, how involved is he in it? Well, he's like 80 years old, so not really. But we're going to parade him into the court and yell at him. Oh, did I say court? No, what I meant was Congress. And we're going to berate him, and we're going to make little TikTok speeches, and we're going to do fucking nothing. Because you can't prove shit. Because like 3 administrations have cleaned out all of the things that might implicate everybody in their administration, except for just enough to be titillating enough to make people go, oh, fucking Bill Clinton, there he is with a girl. What does that mean? I don't know. Dude. This is what we're going to split the vote over. We're going to split the vote over no new wars mean no new wars. Let's fiddle as the world burns, right? Followed by fuck Israel. Followed by fucking Epstein, man. This is the group that they're going to rally around them to try and make a run for the presidency. And unfortunately, it's going to be just enough. Just enough. But it's kind of crazy, right? Because just as the Republicans are starting to break off and form new retardation, the Democrats are being consumed by retardation, but they are making a distinction publicly. Like they're trying to distance themselves from the Democratic Socialists while still leeching off of what the Democratic Socialists can bring. Because ultimately, I'm going to tell you this right now, this is going to be my prediction, 2028. 2028. You think there's going to be a primary for who runs for president? No. There wasn't one in 2024. There wasn't one in 2020. There wasn't one in 2016. It was her time. The Democratic Party endorsed that. It's her time. Bernie, never had a chance in hell. It wasn't a competition. They pushed Joe in your face, said, "You remember this guy? Can you identify this corpse?" And everybody went, "Yeah, it's Joe Biden." And they went, "Great. Throw him in the fucking basement. Don't listen to him. Don't interview him. Don't talk to him. He's been around for 5,000 years. You know what he believes already. He believes whatever you need to hear to just get you to fucking vote for him. And don't worry, we'll fill in the gap." Joe's elected. Joe Biden's running for the Democrats? Fuck, why didn't they pick anybody else? I don't know. It's crazy. Nobody even really liked him. In fact, it was a meme. Not my first choice. Not my second choice. Not my third choice, my fourth choice, my fifth choice, or sixth choice. But I'm not voting for Donald Trump. So whoever they just give you. Okay. And then what happened after that? Oh shit. Joe broke down. Like, Joe's software started a reboot process and a clean and sweep while he was mid-debate. And he just... I'm defragging right now at the moment, so... And what did they do? Well, guess what? Kamala Harris. She's the VP. Yeah, but are we going to do, like, a election? We don't have time for that. Are you kidding me? Ain't nobody got time for that. What do you mean an election? No, you get Kamala Harris. Yeah, but she's not my first pick. Bitch, neither was Joe Biden. You remember? You laughed at the meme? Guess what? Now we're just taking the funny part out. And you just get this dumb bitch. And they tried to do the same thing. We're not going to let her interview. No. And what happened? But the problem herein is that the reason why they just told you who you get to try and make president, they had the power to do it. But the retards in the retard concentrated areas, the major cities, they are voting in the retard pipers, right? And they're tweedledee all this retarded shit. And they're getting voted in. Mom Donnie and all these fucking retards getting voted in. The Nazi that had to drop out, but we're not going to get somebody better than that. The other people that are involved are fucking retards. We got Tal Rico. Like, dude, they're running a whole bunch of idiots all over the place that believe the wildest fucking shit. And they're winning. So, the old guard Democrats, the ones who are just pretending to be fucking morons so that they can just hold on to power with all their fucking might, they're dying off and getting voted out. And at some point, the Democratic Party is going to continue to do the same thing. No, you just get to pick this person because that's who we're going to run. They're probably going to... Maybe they'll try to do the fucking charade of a primary and be like, oh... You know, I mean, it just always seems to be who they want it to be. Not really who everybody else kind of wants it to be. Who they want it to be. It always kind of seems to be the candidate. They're just still do that shit. The only problem is, it's going to be, well, Mom Donnie's running for president. Like, at this point, fucking sad to say, I would prefer AOC be the nominee than anybody else. Because at least AOC got in early enough that they were able to kind of turn her into a piece of shit Democrat as opposed to a crazy piece of shit Democrat. Like, they kind of reformed her a little bit. So... she would still be the less destructive ultimately for like the first year. And then the piece of shit crazy motherfuckers, they would be having her do all sorts of nutty bullshit after that. And we would just go to hell real fucking fast. But at that point, we'd have no filibuster. We'd have like 50 Supreme Court justices. And there would only be like 3 or 4 of them that would ever even consider the possibility of going against what the Democratic Party wants, right? And they're going to abolish the fucking Congress. We're only going to have the Senate, and we don't need a president. We'll just have the Senate run everything. 2 representatives from every state, so that we can still attempt to pretend that that is a fucking thing. But of course, I honestly do believe that for racial justice, we need to be able to gerrymander the fuck out of states again. And, of course, no voter ID because... And we're going to just naturalize 30 million people to come into the country that we're going to put in a town right on top of yours. Like, she'll get it done. You think that can't happen in 4 fucking years? She'll get it done. And like I said, she'll get it done in 3. Because the first year she's going to have to still kind of be like, and then ultimately they're going to be like, no, bitch, you're going to do it our way. And she's going to go, fair enough. I mean, if somebody's got to be dictator for life, might as well be me, right? Yeah. And Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey, they're just retarded enough. I honestly think they're all just retarded enough to fucking make sure that we have some degree of balance, right? The Democratic Party is splitting apart. And yet still under enough of a control system to where they're not really autonomous, right? That's the problem with the Republicans. We have too many autonomous people. We have too many individuals in the Republican Party. Too many giant retards that are doing, it's Israel's fault. Too much of that in the Republican Party. So we got to fracture at the same time that they're fracturing because Israel is always the bad guy. And you just got to understand that is what is important enough to risk sending us into a communist hellscape. Because they don't like Israel. So there you go. I think that this is a piss poor time to become retarded and stupid. Alright? But, I mean, if you're going to infiltrate 1/2 of the governmental structure of a major nation and think that that's going to be enough to get you what you need, no, man. The tactics have to go deeper than that. You have to start on one side and get as much influence and power in that side as you can. Just get as many of your people voted in. And always keep stepping it up, right? We always got to get progressively more and more fucking retarded people in, right? And then once you start hitting to the tipping point, that's when you got to work on the other side. You got to start buying some of those motherfuckers and make them go retarded, right? Sell them the dream of, no, really, I'll make you the dictator for life, right? When ultimately it's not going to be either of them that get to be the dictator for life. And then that way, you've got enough to topple the one side, right? So that you can beat that side out and become that side. And you have enough dissension in the other side, enough retards getting pulled away and off topic, that then you can control the one party to the point where you can just sweep the whole other party out because you'll just make it legal to cheat in the elections. And you'll rig the system to where you can just never do anything you don't want to do and always just say, well, we're going to do this now. to anything that anybody might disagree with, right? And that's 1,000 years of darkness. You know, that's how this shit happens, right? There you go. Like that. There you go. That's what's happening, and that's what I think about it. Now, you ready to get crazy? I'm ready to get crazy. Let's get crazy. It was 2021 or something like that. Wasn't that long ago, but it was, long ago that we had that eclipse. Remember that eclipse? Like, it was really cool because the eclipse was going right across America. Like, it was really fucking neat. And everybody's talking about the eclipse, and everybody's getting their glasses. Oh, we gotta watch the eclipse, right? And all the people and making their videos about the science of the eclipse, and we predicted this eclipse, years ago because we just predict eclipses. Like, it's so mathematically accurate, you can fucking set your watch by these eclipses, right? They're gonna happen when they're gonna happen, and we can tell you the second it's gonna start. Like, we're so good at math, right? And so everybody's excited for the eclipse. And then you had, all the crazy people talking about how it's a sign from God. And, this isn't good, right? And all the crazy people, they're like, no, man, this is going to be fucked up. Shit's going to get crazy from here on out. And it was like, oh, no. And everybody was like, ha, you dummies that believe in your grandpa on the cloud, whatever, right? And they said, no, seriously, we're about to have like a whole bunch of really fucked up like natural disasters and shit, like earthquakes that are just going to devastate places, and we're going to have hurricanes and tornadoes and floods. It's going to be really fucking bad, and we're going to have wars. We're going to have like crazy wars. There's going to be bad shit going on, and it's like a sign of all manner of unrest and ridiculousness and strife and struggles, and everybody's going to be opposing each other. This is going to get fucking bad, right? And everybody went, yeah, sure, I'll believe it when I see it. And here we are, and we have had a whole lot of really bad natural disasters, and we've had a whole lot of wars, and we've had a whole lot of strife and fucking retardation. And it makes me laugh. Like, it really kind of makes me laugh. Because, like, as a believer now, it makes me laugh to consider everything that was going on at that time. All of the mathematic things. And everybody's saying, no, man, this isn't a sign from God. Like, this isn't going to be the reason to stop sacrificing people on the altar and throwing their body down the fucking stairs. Like, this isn't going to be that. It's not, this isn't a sign from God. You see, because, like, don't understand. We can mathematically figure this out. We've figured out the math to predict when these things are going to happen. It's not random chance. It's not an act of God. It's something that is mathematically quantifiable. And it makes me laugh as a believer in God to think that we can have mathematical accuracy in predicting these natural events. So obviously, it wasn't set in place by somebody who designed it that way. No, silly. This all just randomly happened. It's utter random happenstance that our system can be so perfectly wired that we can mathematically predict natural events like this. Shit just makes me laugh, right? It just makes me go, okay, and like, here we are. And shit's fucking crazy. And again, I've talked about this time and time again. Whenever I delve into the esoteric and I start talking about, my religious beliefs and my religious thoughts and my religious, musings on life in general and how it's going, right? And I've discussed that I honestly do believe that evil is a force in the world, and that force acts upon us. And it's not always a coordinated effort of people to do a thing. Sometimes a lot of people just all of a sudden get the same bad idea to do bad things. Right? And so, like, I look at all of these random events happening all around me, and you know what I see? Careful planning. Like, if I were the devil, this is what I'd do. If I was a force for evil, I'd have my counter-religion, and I would have them infiltrating all manners of society at all different levels, and I would have a patsy, and actually a couple of layers of patsies, like 3 or 4 layers of patsies, and I would have my patsies convince people to do a whole lot of really bad things. And I would just sink my teeth into this whole thing and cause it all to be this mass of flowing parts that are all working at different purposes at different times in different ways, but essentially all for my benefit, right? And then I would worm my way into the other side as much as I possibly could, and not really try and take it over. I don't need to take over both sides. I need to take over one side and then eliminate the other side, right? Because the other side is resistance, and I can't have that because I want to control it all. If controlling it all means sacrificing half, so we just want to worm our way into the other side just enough to thoroughly discredit it. I mean, to just thoroughly discredit it. To make it where nobody will believe anything that comes out of this other side. And then ultimately, I'll use the side I control to kill off the side I don't, and then I will weed out everybody else over time. I mean, ultimately, that is the goal, the ultimate destruction of humanity and the world. That is the goal. But, like, what we'll do is we'll just slowly weed out everybody that we don't want, and then we'll weed out more people just to do it, and then we'll weed out more people because we always have to have a boogeyman, and then we'll weed out more people until we're down to a very small amount of people, and then we'll just kill them all off. Like, it will just be done. That's what I'd do if I was the devil. Wouldn't you?